Hello everyone and welcome back to the WCW 2000 save here on the channel on Total Extreme Wrestling 9. And yeah, we've got some stuff lined up for today. We've got some news to go through as well, and we're just going to get right into it. So first of all, we left off last episode with some sort of cliffhangers about some talent that we were looking at. And as you can see, Shane Douglas is officially leaving, Eddie Guerrero is officially leaving. We didn't try and sign either of those two. Bobby Lickum Jr. is also leaving. The unfortunate one is that Steven Regal is leaving. He picked the WWF over us, which is unfortunate, but to be expected really. I wasn't totally convinced we were going to be able to keep him either way. The good news is, we have managed to re-sign Dean Malenko and Perry Saturn, and as you can see here, we are in negotiations with Benoit. This has been going on for 4 days now. The WWF has not put a bid in. That's the crucial part. They've not yet put a bid in, so hopefully tomorrow this will be settled and we can keep Benoit for another couple of years. We're also in negotiations with Sabu and Lance Storm from ECW as well, because, well, Lance obviously joined in real life anyway, and Sabu we're going to try and get on a few month contract. But while we're at ECW, let's have a look at what Guilty as Charged looked like. And as you can see, Mike Awesome retained the title against Dusty Rhodes. Raven and Dreamer defended the tag titles. And RVD beat Lance Storm to retain the TV title. An interesting show, lots of ladder matches for some reason and cage matches. But it is what it is on some of these databases. But we've got a Nitro to film. Now, as you can see, everybody's morale was terrible. As ever. And we're going to try and work towards this. Now, as you can see, there's a few people who are notable bad agents here. Bischoff, Sullivan, Hogan, Flair, I would say, are our main ones that we've got to be mindful of. So we will sort of see how we can get on with that. We've got Worldwide to do quickly out of the way, and obviously I will book Nitro and we'll start the episode with the beginning of Nitro. And hopefully it'll be another good show. Last week's Nitro, really good. This week's hopefully will be just as good. We've got the tag title tournament conclusions, well, the semi-finals. And we obviously have the start of the world title tournament that will wrap up over the next 6 days before Sold Out. I am recording this straight after the previous one, essentially. The first episode is currently rendering. The second episode, obviously, I'm doing now. And then hopefully I'll have some feedback from any of you guys about the third episode, so apologies if I haven't quite looked at anything you wanted me to look at yet. That will be coming up. But there's nothing else to really go over here. As I said, the key thing is we managed to tie down Dean Malenko and Perry Saturn on 2-year deals. I don't like giving out super long deals if I can help it, unless we're convinced that these guys are definitely going to be absolute studs. And usually it's not the case. But Benoit, I think we've offered a longer deal. Oh no, Benoit we just did 2 years as well. But we're getting him for under 100,000. So I'm hoping that will be the perfect situation for us. And in 2 years' time we can just give him more money. But anyway, I'll see you guys in a second for Nitro, and it'll take me actually half an hour to get this sorted. But I'll see you guys soon. Okay, it's time for Nitro, and we're starting off with what I hoped would be a bang, and it's kind of like someone's tripped over on the road. But Ric Flair has returned, and he's here. He wants to put everyone on notice. The Nature Boy is back, and he has one thing on his mind, which is, of course, the World Heavyweight Championship. And he's putting out the challenge to the winner at Sold Out for a match for the title. Got the crowd hot, at least. Mean Gene underwhelming, but 67 overall, we can't complain too much. And then in the first semi-final of the World Tag Team Title Tournament, to no one's surprise, the team of Harlem Heat, that makes no sense, but Harlem Heat defeat the Harris Brothers in a quick succession, under 5 minutes, when Booker T pinned Ron Harris. Booker T, obviously the best guy in this match, that was never going to be in doubt. And yeah, Harlem Heat are team number 1 into the final. And they will meet the Revolution, who have defeated the Filthy Animals team of Rey Mysterio and Kidman in just under 10 minutes, when Dean Malenko submitted Rey with Texas Cloverleaf. Good match overall. I gave this one a bit longer because I knew these guys could produce something pretty decent. In a 61 is really good. And it will be the Revolution versus Harlem Heat at the pay-per-view. This angle somehow cooled the crowd a little bit, but whatever. It's just them staring at each other, making the title gestures, doing the wrap around the belt thing. That's our first match confirmed for Sold Out. One thing at least is booked. We've got like 2 other matches so far. We've not really planned Sold Out very well. Up next, the NWO 2000 are backstage chilling in their locker room, and they say tonight is a big night for the NWO. They just need to win their matches and then take out the winner of Sid and Package, and the title will be theirs. Obviously, Jarrett not included in the tournament, but I'm sure he will make his presence felt later on. 56 overall is pretty good. And in our first world title tournament match, Diamond Dallas Page defeats Scott Hall with the Diamond Cutter to advance to the semi-finals. Good match, 64 overall. Scott Hall put in a good performance despite his poor form, and I don't feel like this was a huge shock. DDP winning kind of makes sense in my eyes. Scott Hall probably not going to be a world title guy for us at the moment, but especially with his poor form. However, DDP gets the win and moves on. Then immediately afterwards we have our next title tournament match, and Chris Benoit loses to Kevin Nash in just under 7 minutes with the jackknife powerbomb after Jeff Jarrett comes down and wallops him with a guitar. Potentially, I could say this is setting up something for Sold Out. We're probably going to run Benoit versus Jarrett if we keep Benoit. I'm not confirming anything for that match until Benoit has signed that contract. But good match, 65 overall. Nash advances, Hall is out, so the NWO is 1-1 for the night so far. And after the match, Jarrett, Nash and Hall beat down Chris Benoit until Dean Malenko and Perry Saturn make the save. And no shock of anybody, the surprise absence of Shane Douglas, who does not come to Benoit's aid after Benoit got into the tournament over him. Next up, I needed to just book some angles, so I figured Piper and Buff Bagwell discuss what happened backstage on Thunder. Yes, they lost, but they enjoy teaming together, and it could be something that they explore in the future, especially to take on the NWO. I've got no plans for Bagwell or Piper, so I might just make them a tag team. Up next, we continue to just have people beat Eddie Guerrero for popularity purposes, and this time he loses to Chris Kanyon, making his debut in the series. Kanyon wins with the Fireman's Carry neckbreaker with a 58 overall rating. And afterwards, he says he's the MVP of this company and he deserves more TV time. He says he may have to speak to the higher ups and bring back the TV title to guarantee his spot every week. I just want to bring the TV title back, and I feel like, just bring it back in this sort of fashion makes more sense. I don't want to run yet another tournament, so we'll see what we can do. We then have, out of nowhere, Randy Savage appears, and he claims he's a forgotten man around here, but he knows the higher ups are not interested in old men like him anymore, so he's just going to have to make himself a problem. And then he leaves. That's kind of it. Savage is... I've got some ideas for Savage. I've got some, I don't really want to run the Millionaires Club New Blood thing, because it was god-awful in real life. But I might try and do something in that vein, potentially. Up next, oh Christ almighty, it's a dud, and thankfully the crowd's very hot still. But Sid defeats the Total Package in 5 minutes with the powerbomb to advance to the semi-finals. 42 overall, Sid not trying, off his game. I want to push Sid. I love Sid, but I can't have him do this every single time. I don't know. I don't know what to do with Sid. We'll think of something. Then he cuts a promo. He doesn't at least phone this one in. He gets a 40 though. And he says he doesn't care who has to go through to win the title, but beating up the NWO at the end of it is a nice little bonus if need be. Thanks, Sid. And then Sting says this past week is in the past, and this week his sole focus is becoming the world champion. This begins by taking out Scott Steiner to reduce the NWO's involvement to just Nash. And in our main event, it's a 63. It's a bit lower than I thought it might be, but the crowd's still very hot. Sting does indeed defeat Scott Steiner just under 8 minutes with a roll up, like a quick roll up. He does advance to the semi-finals of the World Title Tournament to end this episode of Nitro, which gets a 66 overall. So worse than last week. We have lost popularity in 3 regions, but we've gained in 19 at least, and we've made another 500,000 on the show. So if we can make a 500,000 on Nitro every week, we might be okay financially. And yeah, we went up in Puerto Rico, up in Mexico, and up in Europe, and down in our 3 big markets in the US, which is less than ideal. We'll quickly just look at Amy Lee staring at us in a very strange fashion. While the game ticks over, we can have a look at what's happening in the world. Who's been pulled up for a drug test now? Who hates who? All the usual fun stuff when you're managing this company. And we can always have a look at the WWF results as well. And then I can start planning Thunder. I can also show you the results of Worldwide as well. Because, yes, for some reason I am booking that show. I don't know why, but okay. The WWF have expansion in mind. Oh, good. That's not what I want to hear. Have they just gone up in size? Huge. Yeah, they have. They've just gone up in size to huge. Christ. Raw. Yeah, it's a better show than us. I mean, we didn't do too bad. Like, 3.3 million people watched that show. So I'll take it. ECW have made a bid for Lance Storm. Okay, we'll have a look at that. Drug test fees. PPV reviews, that's fine. I need to sort the drug fees out, and then I need to sort out a contract for Lance Storm. But nothing else kicked off, which is good. I'll be back in just a moment for Thunder, and then we will get this episode wrapped up. Okay, it's time for Thunder, and someone please remind me to get rid of Mike Graham as a road agent, because he stinks at his job. But anyway, I also forgot to show the results of Worldwide, so try and remember to do that after we've done this show as well. But we'll start off Thunder with Sting saying he isn't afraid of the big bad Sid Vicious. He'll get past him and take on the winner of tonight's main event, which I forgot to write. He'll either get to face his friend DDP or kick Nash's ass, so he gets to win either way. 41 overall, not great. And this stinks for a whole bunch of levels. So, again, Mike Graham. Bloody Mike Graham. And Sid, once again, being unprofessional. So, I'm glad I picked this. I was tempted to give Sid the title. But instead, Sting beats him in 8:29 by submission, because screw it. If Sid's going to be this miserable, we are not pushing him. End of. He can get over it. But Sting wins. Sting is in the main event of Sold Out, and he'll face the winner of tonight's main event. Afterwards, Jeff Jarrett says he knows that Benoit will want revenge for what happened on Nitro, and he says bring it on, but not tonight. If Benoit wants a shot at his title, he can have it at Sold Out. Simple enough. Afterwards, we then cut to the Revolution backstage. Shane Douglas accepts Jarrett's challenge for Benoit without Benoit's permission. He then quickly moves on to say that Saturn and Malenko will have a little tune-up tonight before they bring gold to the Revolution on Sunday. And they do have a pretty good match, 53 overall, as the Revolution do defeat Juventud Guerrera and Psychosis in 6 minutes when Saturn pins Juve with the Death Valley Driver. Good match overall, really. Can't really ask for much more than that. We then have Chris Kanyon continuing his crusade for the TV title to be reintroduced and given straight to him. That's it, really. There's not much else to say there. Randy Savage then makes another appearance and says it's Sold Out. He'll remind everyone who he is. And that's all he says. He's a very mysterious man, his Macho Man. He's got his cool, like, all black outfit and his shades and his dyed beard, etc. So, he'll be at Sold Out. I don't know what he's doing at Sold Out, but he's going to do something at Sold Out. And then afterwards we have kind of a, just to get this out of the way, Ric Flair comes to the ring and he confirms he intends to challenge the winner of the main event at Sold Out, and he wants the challenge to happen on Nitro. He's then interrupted by Shane Douglas, who, without backup, says the Revolution was formed to get rid of old has-beens like Flair, and he challenges him to a match at Sold Out, which Flair accepts. Basically, I guess it's 60, that's not bad. But with Douglas is leaving, so I'm going to sort of speed run the inevitable Ric Flair match, and then I've got plans for post Sold Out that we can do to basically get Douglas's heat off of him. We then skip to just a random tag match here. The Filthy Animals, Ray and Kidman, get some heat back by defeating Los Villanos in 6 minutes with the Shooting Star Press. And then afterwards, Conan just confirms that they may have lost on Nitro, but they'll be there waiting for the winners of Harlem Heat Revolution from Sunday. We then have a promo with DDP setting up before the main event. He says he tells Mean Gene that he and Nash actually go way back and used to be friends, but tonight it's all about advancing to the main event of Sold Out against Sting. It gets a 50. I really need this main event to pull in a high 60s here, because this is going to be a not great show rating. I think it's a 55, which, not good. I mean, it's a fine match. DDP does defeat Kevin Nash in 9:45 with the Diamond Cutter, and match also had a lot of interference. Sting targeted Nash, Scott Hall and Scott Steiner attacked DDP. Basically, NWO came down, Sting came and ran them off, and DDP hit Nash with the Diamond Cutter amidst the chaos. And then afterwards, oh god, it's a 58. It's not great either. They've cleared out the NWO. Sting and DDP come face to face to close the show. To set up their main event, it's a 57, which isn't great. We've made 45 grand on the show, and we keep going down in point. I mean, in the long run, going down a couple points probably isn't the worst thing, because then we can quite easily build ourselves back up. But it's not great. It's not great at all. I'll be back in just a second when we skip to the next day. Okay, and we're back, and yep, what's happening? Yes, the Chris Benoit signing is confirmed. Just under 100 grand a month, so we've not gone over the 100 grand. We're giving him 50 grand up front, and it's a 2-year deal. Oh, thank God. Thank God for that. I've reduced the cost of the drug fees as well, so that should be less coming in. Ric Flair hates Juventud Guerrera, and we look like we've won the Lance Storm sweepstakes against ECW, so that's fine. Phew. Right, okay, so Benoit is officially in. That's good news. Benoit is now no longer on this list, and we can move on with our lives. So, which means it's sold out in 4 days' time, and currently I have 4 matches booked. We have Chris Benoit versus Jeff Jarrett. We have Harlem Heat versus The Revolution for the tag titles. Ric Flair versus Shane Douglas, and Sting versus Diamond Dallas Page for the world title. Our current championship situation is Berlin is the new Cruiserweight champion. He will probably defend this against someone on pay-per-view. I just don't know who as of yet. Hardcore title is still Norman Smiley. Jeff Jarrett is our current US champion. Our world heavyweight title is vacant, as is our tag title, as is our television title, because they're all vacant. Although a certain Chris Canyon is wanting the TV title brought back. If I have a quick little look as well at our show history, I can just show you worldwide. It's a decent show. The Armstrongs beat Standard and Practices. Berlin defended the Cruiserweight title against Psychosis, and Kurt Hennig beat Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And Saturday night was Horace Hogan beating Al Green. Los Villanos defeated Reno and Kid Romeo. Chavo Guerrero won a Cruiserweight 4-way against Jamie Howard, Kaz Hayashi and Prince Iaukea. And Norman Smiley retained the Hardcore title against Bobby Duncombe Jr. That's probably going to do it. I'm hoping to keep the majority of these episodes under 20 minutes, because it's not the most visually exciting game to look at. But I think we've made a good start. We've done 4 shows. I feel like we've done some decent building towards the pay-per-view. We do need to obviously fill out this with more matches. I mean, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash don't have a match. We could do something with them. We've obviously got Savage, who's doing something at the pay-per-view. We don't know what yet, but he's going to do something. I'll think of something next few days, because I've not got a single clue what I'm doing there. And hopefully it'll be a good show. Who do you think is going to win the world title in 4 days' time? Is it going to be Sting? Is it going to be Diamond Dallas Page? What do you think we should do with the world title picture as well? I mean, what should Savage do? What's going to happen? I don't know, and that's kind of the fun of WCW in 2000 is we could sort of do anything and it would just make sense. But that's going to wrap up today's episode. It's been about 20 odd minutes, I think, and I'm thinking about a schedule sort of every 3 to 4 days for a video. So it shouldn't be too long till the next one. But I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. Hit that like, hit the subscribe, all the usual jazz. And I'll see you for Sold Out. Thank you and goodbye.